Hello, welcome to week 6, I think it's 6, of Dented Shield Blood Bowl League. Going straight into our main game, which is the top 2. I wanted to feature the game that was Jimotek's Jawbreakers against the Brighton Casspitz, but I just went in to do it and the replay wasn't available, so coming back to look at the top 2 instead, and we'll have a look at this game in some detail and catch up with the other games after this one. I think we're only going to be able to show highlights of one other game this time. So you probably saw there, Hubris Rakas coming in for the Rivendell All-Stars, so a bit of a chunk of difference in team value between these two. Lamian and Pallbearers have won all 5 games so far, so going to this with a great record. Rivendell All-Stars have, I think they've drawn one, lost one, won the rest, so pretty good record still. And these are the top 2 teams in the league now, as I said. Top 2 highest scoring teams as well, so both have been scoring loads of touchdowns. A couple of 4-0 wins for the Lamian Pallbearers, a couple of 5-0 wins for the Rivendell All-Stars. We'll skip ahead a little from the setup. I think the Lamian Pallbearers are attacking, so they're going to be about ready at this point. There we go. So this is early New Year's Day time of recording. I've got my usual cup of tea, but also a lump of panettone, because we're at that time of year where you eat panettone for breakfast. Right, let's have a look at the Rivendell All-Stars first. So Hubris Rakas in here. If you're not familiar with him, he's a Dark Elf Blitzer, so it comes with Blodge and he's movement 7. He's a dirty player, which is a bit of a throwaway skill probably for someone who's that valuable, but also jump up, mighty blow and strip ball, which are all great. He's also strength 4, so quite a big deal, really. Dangerous blitzing player. Thrower over on this wing, who is leader and accurate. Splitzer with dodge and guard. Kicking lineman back here. It's a catcher with dump off. Strength 4 catcher with dodge. Blitzer with dodge and tackle. This catcher over here with block, dodge and sidestep, which is a great combo. Line of scrimmage, this is a fresh lineman, block guard lineman and a guard lineman. And the bench is agility 5 accurate thrower and a fresh lineman. I think they had a death of a lineman last game, and have a couple of unlevelled ones in. Oh, excuse me. Okay, lost all the advances, so Vampires have dropped 1 player deeper this time. Still not that deep. I'd probably be looking about there as the furthest forward I'd want my ball retriever, but especially with the movement 6 team. So this is the sort of thrower vampire with block, nerves of steel and strong arm. Over on this wing, agility 5 and jump up on that vampire, kind of holding the wing on his own, while there are 2 thralls over here, one with wrestle and one with block and tackle. Unlevelled thrall there, guard thrall and guard thrall. 2 guard thralls. This one has a niggling injury. This thrall has no levels. Then 3 more vampires in the line of scrimmage. Got block and mighty blow, block, dodge and tackle, and block, dodge and guard. There's an unlevelled vampire on the bench, 4 more thralls, full 16 players available, so no levels, then just armour 6 with no levels, those 2. And vampires attacking. I'll get some tea because you can probably hear my throat is struggling a bit. Just the advances up. Some of the advances now, these icons getting away with the action a little bit, but bit of a disappointing line of scrimmage start. You probably expect all 3 of those going over, but a couple of pushbacks. And keeping the ball fairly safe down here, although playing against this team a couple of times, you've got to watch gaps like this. Can quite easily be exploited. Definitely the right choice of player to blitz a dodge player with tackle, but this gap is quite easily exploitable. The speed they've got. So that's a 2+ dodge. He's using his blitz there, but we'll almost certainly be getting players right in this vampire's face for immediate pressure. I have watched this replay before. I wouldn't remember it to that sort of level of detail, but I'm pretty sure that's what happens here. Yeah, there we go. So a couple of go for it's from that blitzer. The ball carrier's marked. Just a 2+ dodge out. And I would take that rather than try to blitz away from a block dodge sidestep player. Only one block dice result is going to get you unmarked. Okay, yeah, dodged away. To deliver the ball, that's a fumble. And then re-rolled into another one, so very unfortunate. Had some players laying down. Probably should have been stood up before any dice were rolled. Do need to remember to do that. If players are just going to stand up and not do anything else, you've got to do that first. Seem to blitz in installments, that catcher there. That's a bit strange. An injury. So that's the yeah. So Apothecary used on that. No risk taken with the reroll. He would have been missing next game, that vampire, but we'll be back next drive at this point. But this looks like a quick score for the kicking team. It's going to wait a turn. Sure, it could have reached then. Just gone with it. So all the vampires can really do at this point is get a player or two over here, force them into making sure they score next, I think, or getting into position to maybe exploit a mistake by the elves if they try and do some other stuff first and get a turnover. They can hopefully deal with it. Although having a sidestep player right next to the end zone, dangerous player to try and blitz. You can't control where where they're going to be pushed back to. I think first foul blood loss we've had. Turn 2, which is quite late, all things considered. Yeah, so some players in here kind of having to force the touchdown. So we are throwing on the blocks first. That's without a block player. So there are risks of turnovers each of these times, and a decent shot of getting the ball back next turn if any of these actions go wrong. There's a blitz here as well. puts that vampire down and stunned. And he's going to pass. So a bit of showboating for the elves. Or just trying to hold the game up longer. And a foul from Hubris Rakarth. So it's a valuable player to be fouling with. A lot to lose if it goes wrong. Didn't do anything in the end, but we just kept that player. Well, the player was already stunned. Just going for a blitz here. Not that guy's side. So, not just scoring last turn, perhaps put the touchdown in danger. Still a 2+ dodge away with a reroll. Where's our action now? Up here. Do have the setting on for it to automatically follow the action. It just doesn't always, so I have to move the game about a bit. Okay, so elves now needing to. Looks like they're going to try and blitz out of this rather than dodge. Perhaps with this player. Has tackle, so good candidate. Gets a knockout too. And should really be scoring this turn. Looks at this blitzer down here, who will level if he scores, so is a better candidate than the first one. And another vampire off the pitch, so doing pretty well at removing players so far, the elves. There's 3 knockouts there. At least 2 of them are vampires, I think 2 of them. That's the score there. So yeah, leveling blitzer did by holding up a couple of turns did give the vampires a bit of a chance of coming back and getting the ball again, but did get away with it. It's 1 vampire back from knockout. Again, it looks like no elves were removed from the pitch because we're not seeing anything of that. But yeah, that's half of the first half gone, and they're kicking team 1 up. Blitz, so things really not going the Pallbearers' way so far. Kind of the fumbled pass over here led to that touchdown, and now a blitz at the kickoff. Another knockout before they can even get moving there. That's the agility 5 vampire. And yeah, looking at getting a lot of pressure on the ball now. And because they're so far forward against a kick player who can pretty much guarantee the ball's going to be deep, I think you need a couple of players back here to cover more of the pitch. Make sure you can secure the ball easier. And you can't necessarily always plan for a blitz being rolled, but it is something you need to consider. Right in the end zone. I think out of reach of this. No, he'd be able to reach it. Too fast. Yeah, reach it with a go for it. Stand on it with a normal move. As long as he doesn't bloodlust, that's something to consider. And now having to pull all these players back. Doesn't bloodlust. Also doesn't pick up the ball. And again, another 1 rerun to a 1. Drops it into the crowd. That vampire doesn't catch it on a 1. And the ball's here. Probably quite gettable for an elf team. Using a blitz to clear that player off. It's down to one tackle zone and a ball, and they can be a pass away from scoring. Plenty of players here who can score. That one putting another tackle zone on the ball for safety. And I could perhaps try and look at this. Okay, this vampire down 2. We'll need to throw. Oh no, gone that way. I think that's going to give them. No, not going for that vampire. Just taking a 3+ pickup, 2+ dodge. And a hand off to that strength 4 catcher, who's made a pass. There we go, and that's 2-0 in basically one more turn. So yeah, the blitz giving them the opportunity to get that second in very quickly. Other vampire back from knockout, although I think that still leaves 1. That was the original 2 knocked out, who is still there. So yeah, the agility 5 jump up vampire still there. So yeah, a bit deeper this time, and a bit of support as well. No, with a kick player, it's going to be going deep, so you've got to cover more of your half. Make sure the ball can be made safe, especially against a quick team. High kick as well, which is helpful. Probably first helpful kickoff result the Vampires have had. They have possession. A bit safer now. That means they're going to have to get at least 2 players over on this guy if they're going to be acting quickly on the ball. 3 turns to try and make the to get a touchdown back before half time. But that's a guard thrall put out by a vampire. Niggling injury. I wonder if niggling injury helped. No, I rolled a 10 anyway. But if you're going to bite a niggling injury player, it's adding one to the roll you're making. Could maybe have gone for that guy instead. The guy who didn't have guard, standing right next to him. So it's also worth considering, if you can. I know vampires are going to often give you the safest actions, but if you can act with your thralls first, if you then need to bite them, you're not losing an action in the turn. If you see what I mean. So if you're biting a thrall who hasn't acted, you're losing an action from your turn. If the thrall can have done something first, you've at least got that out of them before you're possibly taking them off the pitch, at least taking them out of the next turn. And this one, of course, you're just denying yourself an action if you're biting thralls who've already done stuff, who haven't done stuff yet. So not really anywhere to go for the vampires next turn. They've got 2 more turns. So next turn they have to get someone in scoring position, and they've got to get them the ball at some point in the next 2 turns. They've got to get them in scoring position and then get them into the end zone. And Hubris has made go at the ball. He had the speed to get through and get 1 dice on it. So the vampire down. Had strip ball as well, so even a pushback would have mean a dropped ball. But he stunned the ball carrier. And is now holding the ball, so basically no score this half for the vampires, but the elves can still do it next turn. Oh, they've got 2 turns more, in fact. So now turned into a desperate defence for the Pallbearers. Perhaps at the moment they've got 1 dice on the ball with that block tackle thrall. Going with that vampire instead though. Hubris doesn't have dodge, so tackle's not a factor here, but yeah, getting 2 dice is safer. Yes, for that pick up on a 2 in the tackle zone. The Rivendell side's still a scoring threat though. That's a 3+ pick up for this thrower if someone can be a scoring threat over here. Definitely got the speed of how this is movement 5 linemen, so might be more this wing. I look at that. Is that the ball carrier being blitzed? Yeah, not the ball carrier. So the one marking the ball. Pushback hasn't really changed the positioning over there with the ball at all. Do get that guard lineman over, so the movement 5 guard lineman. And felt that pick up on a 1. That's a 3+. Chucking a reroll at it, but still not coming off. That was in a pretty good spot for the other side. 3 tackle zones on it. This player can reach the end zone. So can this one. Pretty sure this one can as well. Yeah, so you've got plenty of scoring threats. The vampires need to make sure, I think, they don't get the ball. Has to be the priority. Because they can't deal with all of these scoring threats. This one definitely has to be dealt with though. I think this one's not a danger to score. This might have been the better blitz there. So yeah, just going for 3 tackle zones on the ball. It's going to be very tough for the Elven Unions to get out. 4 tackle zones on the ball. Oh no, went for the pickup. Put it in a slightly safer position, slightly more dangerous position. It's probably fine where it was in terms of keeping the ball safe. And I think they're just going for dodging round. Yeah, so tackle preventing the dodge reroll. And the team reroll not helping, so no score. But it's 2-0 to Rivendell Stars at half time. And they haven't had an attacking drive yet. Which is exactly the position the Lamian Pallbearers were in last week against me. But they were 2-0 down at half time. Of course they wanted to win that game, so this is not over yet. So yeah, I think we've highlighted this before, but when you set up defensively along the halfway line, the attacking team could just pick their battles, just to get from this side, this half. I mean, with the amount of strength 4 the vampires being strength 4 on here, it's hard to get 2 dice blocks against everyone. Probably not a stretch to say impossible. There's so many players you can hit, and having that guard lineman in there with Hubris, effective kick, but that's 2 dice there. Leading off of a loner player, risky, but no big deal. Gets a knockout as well. That vampire did not need to be on the halfway line where he could just be hit. There's no need for a defending player to stand that far forward. And now this is the wing that's vulnerable, because they were standing there. It's a fail pickup. I think he's at the agility 5 thrower, failing the pickup. Yeah, the ones still fail, no matter how agile you get. Keeping the ball safe down there, but that's a catcher in scoring position. This could be 3-0 next turn. Yeah, leaving players who could just be hit creates a weak point. Could possibly have done the same the other side. Didn't really need to. Can focus on one flank, and that's a relatively easy score at this point. So if these players were, I like, where do I like? There and there for my 2. If I'm going to have 2 players on the wing defending it, those 2 spaces. That's a thrall knocked out. So yeah, players coming off the pitch all the time. But yeah, being that far back, you're not vulnerable to a block even from a quick snap, and that sort of staggered thing is protection against frenzy. Not relevant in this game with no frenzy players, but it's worth considering as the way to set up your wing when you're defending. Further bloodlust there. Might have been looking at getting further up here, but had to come back and bite a thrall, so blitz there instead. Probably 2. I want to count how far I could have got. 2, 4, 6. No, he was out of range. That could have been, this throw might have been an option, were it not for bloodlust, but blitz there instead. Putting quite a lot of resource into pressuring the ball. Ball's almost certainly going to be moving. There we go. The nerves of steel on these catches. Interception. There we go. Interception is something you can try and play around. It's that sort of 1 in 6 chance. Inaccurate throw. Let's see if this, yes, it does come off, so that's barring bloodlust is a score, which looks like I can do later in the turn. So barring a turnover first. But yeah, interception, you probably couldn't have positioned his thrower anywhere to avoid that interception, so it gives the opponents a 6+ roll to try and intercept. Interception is basically always going to be a 6, and it's an unmarked agility 4 player. They get a 5+ roll on it. But yeah, it's 2-1. So interception costing the Rivendell All-Stars a touchdown. 2nd time this season, I think. Not been many interceptions all year. I mean, yeah, not many turn up. So this time staying back from the line on the defensive setup. Still, for me, 1 square too far forward, because a quick snap here could just mean stepping up into them, having basically the same again. But the elves are, looks like, rightly concentrating on trying to get 2 dice on all these players. So guard effectively cancels out the guard on the defenders. stepping one step over to the side here rather than there means that guard's not coming into play, and that's 2 dice. Then they've got, yeah, same again there, so 2 assists for that strength 4 catcher. That strength 4 catcher really needs block. Got a shallow kick, it's high, so agility 5 thrower underneath it. Drops the catch. Quite a few ones turning up in this game. Ball's pretty safe before they do anything else. 3 tackle zones on the ball, and then start throwing blocks. And yeah, same again, strength 4, 2 assists on that vampire. He's one of these linemen to deal with the thrall, probably the block one. And he goes down, no following up, so the vampires don't get blocks back. And they will get at least 1 block on this guy next turn. They can have be a blitz there. 2 guard players. It's 2 assists on that vampire. And he goes down. That creates maybe a bit of a hole. Yeah, 3+2+ on dodges. Has rerolls both times, but that's a blitzer in scoring position. Agility 5 thrower on the ball. Pretty well protected. So the vampires shouldn't be able to get this list next turn. Do have to deal with this guy. Probably want at least 2 players marking him. So this down player could maybe just go blitz him actually. It's 1 go for it to blitz. If he needs to bite a thrall with blood loss, there's 1 there. Well, that's a good one. It'd be good not to have to take him out of the game. He's doing the blitz there. Oh no, gone this way. I think 1 marker is not really enough. Throws up another thrall. I'd see this thrall going down to mark as well, because the ball's not going to be there next turn. I mean, if you can blitz the ball carrier, it's one thing, but just marking an agility 5 ball carrier, it's not really. I don't think it's as worth it as marking the scoring threat. Another tackle zone on that blitzer, I think, is what was called for there. And where's this vampire going? Just trying to plug that gap up a bit. But it looks like, I think that's a hole the Earl's going to attack this turn. They've got a strength 4 guy here. They do have to knock this one down. Had 2 dice on that thrall. That's a bit of a space. Do get that thrall down as well, so that's a gap there straight away. If they can use their blitz here first, not a lot of space for that. Yeah, block dodge side step catcher. Can free up this this blitzer who can score this turn. That gap to run into to avoid all the interceptions. Fluster catch though. Has a reroll. Thrower actually rolled a 1 for his pass initially too, but the pass skill. Pass skill meant he got it on that reroll. Had to reroll both 2+ rolls there to get the pass off. And it's going in, so you're going to hold it up. It's holding it up again. I think if you're going to be going 2 touchdowns up, just score. Just get on with it and score. Turn over there. So slim chances back. I know a lot of coaches like stalling, but I think just score and put up a defence. I've mentioned that before. I'm of that camp. I think it's a much more enjoyable way of playing the game, is the bottom line. Following up there, probably have 4, 5, 6. Could only really have got there anyway. With 2 go for it as well. Yeah, just a 1 dice block to end. That should be an easy score. I don't think trying to hold it up for another turn is that feasible. Definitely not a good idea. And yeah, there's a touching going in. So that was that's 3-1. See how we're doing. So I think that's a self-inflicted injury. Couple of 2 vampires knocked out back. A couple of thralls still out there. He's just still on 11, plays 11. There's been basically nothing in either of these boxes whole game. Don't really know what's going on there. Sort of I think they've just not been breaking armour very much, even, let alone getting injury rolls that are favourable. Yeah, 3-1 now. 4 turns to go. I think having wrestle is good protection on the wings. It's good protection from blitzers, or any block player who's going to be blitzing. Another reroll for the Pallbearers, but some on 4 means they've got to reroll every turn. Needed that one. Yeah, there's an injury. Finally got one. Nothing permanent, and we'll be back next game. How's he doing for points, this thrall? Oh, it's the good thrall. On 23 points. Both down there, though. So throwing dice with players without the block skill before picking the ball up is I don't want to blanket say it's a bad idea, but it's the order I do is 2 dice with block, then pick the ball up, then do your other blocks. Yeah, picking the ball up safer than throwing a block if you don't have the block skill. I used to also, especially in my chaos team, like to try and pick the ball up when I've still got a reroll. Obviously didn't have a reroll because of the initial double skulls from that first action. It was there, I think, wasn't it? So knocked out vampire. So many of those in this game. Has been a big factor in the way this result's going, I think. The amount of vampire players who've been put off the pitch every drive. But yeah, because I couldn't get the ball last turn, it's given them one less turn to try and be scoring. Going for the throw to that thrall, he catches it. Then are we looking at a handoff somewhere? Has to go for it there. Takes the handoff. Okay, now this thrall's option, so remember what happened here. This vampire's options rather. It's agility 5, so that's a 2+ dodge, 2+ dodge, and then he's got 4 more squares of movement to get away. Then obviously Hubris Rakath is the danger, 1 assist, he gets 2 dice on the ball. So, you know, but that's going to happen pretty much however this vampire gets over here. If he tries to blitz out, this blitz has got block, dodge and sidestep. So he has to knock him over. He needs a defender down result, which is fishing for a 6 on 2 dice, basically. If he only gets a pushback, this blitzer can choose to go in the most annoying place possible, which will be there. And half of each block dice are going to give him that result because he's got dodge. Both down's no good because that's a turnover. Skull's no good because that's a turnover, obviously. Yeah, defender down is the only thing that will be helpful if he chooses to blitz out of this. And if he does, he's still got 1 assist to mark. Hubris Rakarth has a 2+ dodge to blitz, 2 dice. So, I mean, the safer one, if he needs to go for it now, is dodging through 2 2+ rolls, and then try and get Hubris Rakarth under wraps. Use your blitz to do that, probably. I mean, this guy, perhaps coming in, this guy got dodge. No, so maybe this vampire, 2+ dodge for 2, 3, 4, 5. Blitz in there, has to knock him over. Doesn't have dodge, so fairly doable. But yeah, needs to get him under wraps. And then this vampire's free to come and do a bit of screening. I think is the way to do that. Yeah, I mean, it's just with all the protection these blitzers have got, sidestep and dodge as well as block, relying on getting that one block crush to turn up for you it's a bit of a stretch. He does go for the blitz out, but gets a turnover, and that's the ball gone again. But yeah, 2+ dodges was far less risky. And yeah, it was probably the choice to make there. I think against a different player, or if this vampire had block. If this vampire had block, it's less risky. Against a general lineman with no skills, probably the blitz is the right call. But one of these blitzers is the perfect player for the Elven Union team to have there, and that's another player in scoring position with another turn left. So that's a dump off catcher on the ball. He is out of quick pass range of this guy. It's 3 squares is a quick pass, so I just needed 1 more square forward. Do have this, probably this jump up vampire's the candidate for the blitz. Doesn't even need an assist for it, but have a couple of thralls there as well. And come mark up. Yeah, so that's the blitz there. Has to try and dump off to an empty square, and it scatters over to the side. Catcher goes down, and he's injured. So I think this is the catcher who's got 2 niggling injuries. Just out, is just a badly hurt. Then jump up vampire. Yeah, so yeah, right candidate was a thrall to go do it, because jump up vampire can go grab the ball. Tries to make the pass, but drops that. So this is still a scoring threat. Hasn't been marked. One player to try and clear off. This blitz is going for it. Agility 5 thrower here. Ideal candidate to come pick the ball up, make a pass there, and make this 4-1. Another one on a pickup roll. The agility 5 players are not doing great stuff. I think that's a 2+ long pass, and runs in for 4-1. So I think nothing. Yeah, let's get forward as far as we can, because I'm pretty sure nothing else happens in this half. As far as we can go. You know, so ball's over there, and we just got some blocks to play this out. So yeah, factors in this game. Some in the first half, definitely there were 2 occasions the vampires are attacking. They roll a 1, they re-roll it, get another 1, and there's turnovers which cost them the ball, and the elves scored off of both of those. That's the way this game can work. It's kind of something you have to try and plan for. It's hard to plan for. Like, you're making really high percentage plays that should come off, and they don't. It's annoying, but it's the fickle nature of this weird risk management game that we play, and it's what can happen. Other factor, I think, really was injuries, like the really one-sided nature of the injuries in this game. This box especially was full for loads of the game. There were vampires being knocked out every drive, not always coming back at first opportunity, and the elven injury boxes basically remained empty for pretty much the whole game. Armor rates were quite even, actually, so there's probably a lot of stunned elves that I sort of wasn't really noticing. Let's see if we can pick it up on dice rolls, actually. So yeah, all these failed armor rolls for the vampires, that's really high. All the armor 8 players, it's armor 7 and armor 8 players they've got, and then yeah, loads of 10 out of 11 injuries being ones that remove them from the pitch. So that's knocked out or better 10 times. Sorry, it's 10 out of 21, not 10 out of 11. 11 of them were stuns. Whereas the elves, yeah, 9 stuns to, I think it was 1 knockout, 1 injury. You know, it's massive disparity in the way those dice landed. Overall dice spread is quite even. I mean, potentially even. I mean, it's a lot of 5s, but it's more 1s and 6s, and here it's much more even. It's a lot of 3s, but 3s are often successful for vampires. You've got stuff like bloodlust being. I mean, the vampire coach even said, I think, that it wasn't really a factor in this game. You've got stuff like catches being that's quite low, really. Go for it's probably about right. Had that interception, can't really complain about that. Dodges were kind of okay. Pickup rolls were low. So it's a lot of 1s turning up where you don't want them. Is the thing, and another thing to consider as well. These 6s are in armor and injury rolls on your own players, so that's how the spread of dice can be affected, and the 6s aren't always good. I've only just been, after playing this game for a few years, only just properly been analysing what these armor and injury rolls mean, and it's for your own players, and considering that, yeah, this dice spread includes that. But yeah, that is how it is. Yeah, and that's how the let's have a look at the block class as well. Yeah, not many attacker downs, not many skulls for the Rivendell stars. And I think there weren't really many turnovers from blocks in this game either. A lot of it was dropping the ball or not picking up the ball, having the ball intercepted, and stuff like that. Still quite a healthy All-Star player points, Rivendell All-Stars especially. There were some levels in this game, I think 2 players each. But yeah, that's how we got to. I think we can only look at the footage from one other game this week, unless by the time I finish putting this video together, one of the other coaches can get me some other footage. But yeah, we'll check in on the other results after having a look at this one. After slumping to their first defeat of the season last week, the Fist of Sabnok went to the Lizarpool looking to make amends, where they would face the speed and solid front line of Lizarpool. The visitors won the toss and received the first kick, looking to get ahead in the game. They soon had players falling to injury. They couldn't keep the ball safe long enough to get it into the end zone. Sabnok gathered a loose ball late in the half and threatened to score, but Lizarpool quickly surrounded him, giving him no route forward. Lizarpool lined up to attack for the second half with the visitors down to 10 players, which was soon 9 players when Charizard put Wormulgore out for the game. The Lizard men built patiently before using their speed to outflank on the right, as the Chaos players kept being removed from the pitch. Morning's observation made space for a play on the ball, but they couldn't secure it, and Johnny Reynolds scooped it up to put the home side ahead midway through the second half. Visitors were back up to 10 players for their attack, but a blizzard rolled in, making it even more difficult to get the ball quickly up the pitch. Roughy Tufty led the attack up the left, keeping hold of the ball while his teammates moved into position. In the end, he couldn't make the difficult pass to find Exeter Leap in the end zone. Ball left the pitch shortly after, but the home fans threw it safely back towards the line of scrimmage. 1-0 win for Lizarpool, who now have won 2 on the bounce. So there's a roundup of this week's fixtures, the 2 games we didn't get a chance to see. So the usual, when teams play the AI, couldn't access the replay. That was Tontor Ironbones 3, Green Drills 0. So it kind of went as expected. Every team here is going to beat the Green Drills. Sort of knew that from the start. The other game, the replay was there a couple of weeks ago, or not that long ago actually, but the day after they played, I started watching that replay. Didn't get a chance to watch all of it, but yeah, just when I came to record it this week, it wasn't there. But yeah, that was Jimotek Jawbreakers 3, the Royal Casspitz 0. So that's the Orc and Nurgle teams in the league respectively. And yeah, that among the way the other results come this week really tightened things up along the middle. Second down to 6th, I think, could all still really finish in any order, depending on how next week's games go. So my team, the Fist of Sabnok, playing the Tontor Ironbones, who are above them with 1 more win. I think really I have to win that to kind of guarantee that I'm going to be finishing in the top 4 and going into the Dented Shield playoff. I think any other result, and there's a decent chance with the way other games go, I could be in the bottom 4 and in the Notch Buckler. So a lot to play for next week for me. And yeah, it's all very close. Second down to 6th could also kind of finish in any way. I think the 2 win teams wouldn't be able to get higher than 4th. But yeah, anyone could still kind of finish anywhere there almost. So yeah, very tight. And these are those games next week. I think I'm going to try and bring or cover as many of those games as I can, because there's a lot happening. This is 3rd against 4th, this 5th against 7th, 6th against 2nd, and then Lamian Pallbearers are going to win, and they're going to finish top anyway. I think no matter what happens with that 5-1-0 record. Yeah, so a lot riding on next week's games. We'll see how it goes next week, and we'll be back then.